जय राधा कुंजा बिहारी जय
राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय
राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरवरधारी
जयो यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना
यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन
यमुना तीरावनचारि
यमुना तीरावनचारि
यमुना तीरावनचारि
यमुना तीरावनचारि
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरवरधारी
जयो यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना
यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन
यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन
यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन
यमुना तीरावनचारि यमुना
तीरावनचारि
यमुना तीरावनचारि यमुना
तीरावनचारि
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय
जय
राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय
जय
राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम
राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
हरे राम
राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radhe Jaya Radha
Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radhe
Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai
Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada
Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol
जय कलयुग पावन हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
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 नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
धनं चैव नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो जयमुदीरये
ततो जयमुदीरये
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
अष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके
भक्ति उत्तमा श्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिके
कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय
कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय
देवकी नन्दनाय च
देवकी नन्दनाय च
नन्दगोपकुमाराय
नन्दगोपकुमाराय
गोविन्दाय नमो नमः
गोविन्दाय नमो नमः
हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु
हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु
दीनबन्धु जगत्पते
दीनबन्धु जगत्पते
गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता
गोपिका गोपिका कान्ता
राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते
राधाकान्ता नमोस्तुते
तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी
तपकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी
राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये
नमामि हरिप्रिये
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च
कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः
नमो विष्णुपादाय
नमो विष्णुपादाय
कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले
कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले
श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त
श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त
स्वामीनिति नामिने
स्वामी नित्यामिने
नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे
नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी
गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे
गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी
निर्विशेष शून्यवादी
निर्विशेष शून्यवादी
पाश्चात्य देश तारिणी
पाश्चात्य देश तारिणी
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य
प्रभु नित्यानंद
प्रभु नित्यानंद
श्री अद्वैत गदाधर
श्री अद्वैत गदाधर
श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद
शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद
हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा
हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा
कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे
कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे
हरे राम हरे राम
हरे राम हरे राम
राम राम हरे हरे
राम राम हरे हरे
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण
So welcome everyone to our weekly Bhagavad Gita class. Thank you for coming. Today we'll be discussing a very interesting and important topic about the science behind the deity worship. There are 5 things which are very important in our spiritual life. Association of devotees, chanting the names of the Lord, reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, going to the holy places and worshipping the deities of the Lord. Sadhu-sanga, Nama-kirtana, Bhagavad, Shravan, Mathura-vasa, Sri-murtira, sraddhaya, sevana. All these five are very, very potent, very powerful to give attachment to the Lord. Sakala sadhana sreshte panchanga Krishna prema janmai pachera alpasanga. Even if you associate with any of them for a very little time, you will develop a connection with the Lord, develop love for Supreme Lord. So one of the limbs is Sri-murtira sraddhaya sevana, worshipping the deities with love, with faith. What is the faith which is required to worship the deities? That we'll be discussing today, because there are many institutions, many faiths which say that, oh, deity worship is all sentimental. It is for those people who are not yet advanced. In the beginning stages, you worship the Lord in the form of murti, and then after you become developed and connect with the Lord, then you don't need the deities. So that is what some people say. So today we'll be discussing what is actually deity worship. What is the basic principle of worshipping the Supreme Lord in the form of deity worship? One time a person, he came to the temple and he was sitting with legs towards the deities. So one devotee came and said, oh, you should not keep your leg in front of the Lord, because Lord is there, right there. So he said, okay, in which direction Lord is not there? We say Lord is everywhere. So in which direction he is not there? So why you are saying that specifically you should not keep the foot in front of the murtiya, the deities? So these are some questions which people ask. So today we'll be discussing some very, very important concepts of deity worship. So what is the basis of idol worship? So there are two ways in which we can understand. If somebody says, no, I don't worship anyone, I don't worship idols. We can't say we don't worship idol. One time I went to a student's room in a hostel, and I saw that he had put the picture of his famous actress, his favorite actress, on the ceiling. Ceiling पे क्यों लगाया यार? So he said, प्रभु जी आप नहीं समझेंगे, सुबह सुबह उठ के सबसे पहला दर्शन होना चाहिए. So people, they worship, but how they worship, what they worship, why they worship, they all differ. So it is very, very important. Everybody has a tendency to worship. Nobody can say that I don't worship anyone. We all worship, but we all worship different people. When Sachin was at full peak, people would be worshipping Sachin Tendulkar. There are temples of Amitabh Bachchan also. There is a temple of Jayalalitha also in South India. Jayalalitha, जानते हैं ना? So people worship. I'll show you a video of a person who was worshipping Donald Trump. आवाज आएगा इसमें?
Yeah.
एक मिनट.
I love you, Trump.
नाम कृष्णा है.
अभिषेक कर रहे हैं.
चैंटिंग किसका कर रहा है पता नहीं.
I love you, Trump. I love you, Trump. I love you. I love you, family. God bless you, your family. God bless you, your family.
Okay, anyways, so this is how people they worship. So people cannot say I don't worship anyone. And sometimes people worship to a very great extent in a fanatic way. So what is this deity worship which we are doing? I think everybody has some deities, some murtiyan in their puja ghar, kuch to rehte hi hain. So what is the science? In what mood we should worship them? What are we doing? So that is what we'll be discussing. There are two things: ascending symbolism and descending symbolism. Ascending symbolism means when you see that symbol, some emotions arise. Just like when we see the flag, what emotions arise?
Patriotism.
पेट्रियाटिज्म, देशभक्ति एटलीस्ट साल में 2 बार तो जागृत होती है, 26 जनवरी और 15 अगस्त को गाना सुनते हैं तो मेरे देश की धरती सोना उगले. So that is the ascending symbolism. See, flag is a representation of the nation. It has nothing to do, it is not directly connected. It is a representation. It is a symbol which we have created. And offering love and worship is something which inspires us towards the nation when we salute the flag. But there is no intrinsic connection. That is called as ascending symbolism. It is not the same thing as the nation. It is just representing. Another thing is descending symbolism. Just like you see the deities, you see the statues of many great politicians and film stars. What is that? The deity, the statue, it exactly matches with the person's external. But it is still not the same person. It is just the representation of the person in this form. That is called as descending symbolism. Understood the difference? So in this, there is an intrinsic connection between the person and the image. The externals are same. In ascending, the externals are also not the same. It just gives a emotion towards that identity or that entity in the, for example, in the form of flag. Okay, so deity worship, which of the two is very nicely describing deity worship? Is it ascending symbolism or is it descending symbolism?
Descending.
Descending? None of the above? Actually, none of the above. It is not just descending symbolism. Because when you worship the statue of Mahatma Gandhi is not there, right? You are just worshipping the statue of the person. But when we are worshipping the deities in the form, the Lord in the form of the deities, the Lord is there. It is much more than descending symbolism. It is descending because the externals may look the same, but it is much more than descending symbolism. When people say, "Arey, koi bhi roop mein bana do na, what's the problem? We can make the deity in any form, in any way we want." You know, last time we discussed Ganesh Ji ka. The person had made the Ganpati Pandal as bar. So, the deity worship, it is not a whimsical way. You can worship any way, you can do anything, you can make any form and start worshipping. There is a very, very refined connection. It is mentioned in scriptures, the form of which form of the deity we should worship, how we should worship the deity, how we should make the deity. The form which we are seeing in the world, in India, prominently in India, when people worship the deities, they are not just some imaginations. Okay, ठीक है, कृष्ण भगवान ऐसे होने चाहिए, और शंकर भगवान should be like this, Durga should be like this. No, it is not just a way of imagining कि हमने सोच लिया ऐसे हैं. There is a connection. They are directly representing the form of the Lord. So, and that is mentioned in Shilpa Shastra. As you can see in this, there is a very precise mention, the detailed mention of what all things should be there in the deity of Lord Ram. So all these things are mentioned in Shilpa Shastra. how should be the form, what should be the feature, how the posture should be there. It is not the imagination. Now, a question to all of you, which we discussed last time also. Does God have a form or is he formless?
As a form.
So last time also we discussed, the Lord has a form, but he is formless also. Because the Lord has three aspects. Lord is not just personal, he is impersonal also. So when people say, oh, Bhagwan ka roop nahi hai, okay, they are right. But that's not the end of the Lord. He is impersonal and much more. That means he has a form also. There is a beautiful verse which comes in Srimad Bhagavatam. Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yad jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdyate. The Lord is seen in three different features. Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. Brahma, Paramatma and Bhagavan. It is described. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti and Bhagavan iti. So the great learned scholars, they have understood the Lord like this. He is Brahman. So what is Brahman? We discussed last time also. The Brahman is the light which comes from the body of the Lord. And that form of the Lord which resides in everyone's heart, that is Paramatma. And the source of Brahman and Paramatma is Bhagavan. So these are the three aspects of the Lord. And we saw some examples to understand these three features. Anyone remembers? We discussed the example of sun and the mountain and the train. When you see the train from a distance at night, kya dikhta hai?
Light.
Only light is seen. And as the train comes near the station, you can see some bogies also. And when the train stops at the station, then you can see the people also inside. So what you are seeing from a distance is Brahman. You go little closer, you understand, okay, Lord is little more. Train is little more than just light. It is not just the light. It is much more than the light. And when the train is on the platform, then you can see everything about the Lord, everything about the train. Similarly, when you see the Lord from a distance, you can't see the Lord. You just see the light. So there is a verse in Ishopanishad. In this, the devotee is praying, "O Lord, please remove your effulgence. Please remove your powerful effulgence so that I can see your beautiful face." So the Lord has a very, very powerful effulgence coming from him. Just like you must have experienced when you see some very divine people, saintly people, or some people who have lots of, spiritual merits. People say, oh, he's shining. Effulgence is there, coming. Srila Prabhupada, when he started this movement in America, and many devotees, many people, they joined, many people would come and tell, Swamiji, your disciples are effulgent. They are shining. So that is the natural outcome of a person who is practicing spiritual life. How much more Lord will be effulgent, who is the source of all spirituality. So therefore the Lord is, the first feature is Brahman, and then Paramatma, that form who is there in the heart, and then Bhagavan. Bhagavan means reservoir of all opulences, Balavan, Dhanavan, Jnanavan, Balavan, and Bhagavan. So Bhagavan means, what is the meaning of Bhagavan? We have heard many times. It is made up of two words, Bhaga and Van. Van means possessor. Balavan, the possessor of strength. Dhanavan, possessor of wealth. Similarly, Bhagavan. Bhagavan means the possessor of 6 opulences. Bhaga. So Bhaga is, there are 6 types of very, very attractive things in this world. What all things attract us in this world? Fame, okay. Wealth. Beauty. Knowledge. Wonderful. 2 more. Strength. If somebody is really powerful. And even renunciation attracts people. If you see somebody who is really renounced, very simple, humble, it is attractive. These are the 6 opulences of the Lord. Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashashriya jnana vairagya yaschaiva sannam bhaga itingana. Aishwarya samagra, all the wealth. It is not that he is the wealthiest. He is all wealthy. All the wealth belongs to God only. Virya, he is all powerful. He is not just powerful, he is all powerful. Yasha, he is all famous. Shri, he is all beautiful. Gyan, he is the source of all knowledge. He is not just all knowledgeable, he is a source of knowledge. And Vairagya, in spite of all this, he is very humble. He is not attached to any of it. That is God. That is Bhagavan. And then we saw the example of sun. So now anybody can tell me, the sun has 3 features: the sun planet, sun god, and the sunlight. So sunlight corresponds to which form of God?
Brahman.
Brahman. Okay, wonderful. And sun planet? That is Paramatma. Yes, thank you. And sun god is
Bhagavan.
Bhagavan. If sun god is not there, sun planet will not be there. And then where is the question of sunlight? So therefore, when people say God is light, we should always understand the light should have a source. If the light is there, there must be a source of that light. Some people say God is light. Okay, but what is the source of the light? Have we ever experienced any light without a source? It is not possible. So when people say God is light, yes, God is light, but what is the source of the light? If we forget that, then it is not the complete understanding of God. Now, to understand a little more about how to worship the deities. Okay, so all of us must have heard some songs on FM, and to hear the songs we need a device, radio chahiye or mobile. Although all the sound vibrations, all the frequencies are there in the air. ऐसा कान लगा के सुनते हैं क्या? कौन सा वाला frequency tune करना है? What do we need?
Device to hear.
We need a device. Although the frequencies are everywhere, but we need a device. Cow gives milk. The milk is there in all the parts of cow's body. But we can't cut the cow and say, okay, we'll get the milk from anywhere. We access the milk from the udders of the cow. So that is very important to understand. This moisture is everywhere. But when we feel thirsty, we need a glass, and that water should be there in the glass, although moisture is everywhere. So when people say Bhagavan to sab jagah hai, but can we see God everywhere? Can we hear the frequencies, radio frequencies by our ears? Can we access the water without a glass and the liquid form of water? Similarly, if we want to worship God, we can't see the God everywhere. Of course, it requires realization. There are many, many wonderful devotees, great devotees of the Lord. They see the Lord everywhere. They are seeing Lord in every living entity. They are seeing the Lord in every living and non-living being. Sthavar jangam dekhi na dekhi tara murti sarvatra hoye nij ishtadeva spurti. When they see moving and non-moving beings, they see God everywhere. They see, oh, Lord is there in everyone's heart. They see Lord is the source of all the creation. That's how they are always conscious of God. The whole process of spirituality is to make ourselves conscious of God always. How can we be conscious of God when we see water? How can we think about Krishna when we are conscious, when we are seeing water? Any guesses? Any thoughts? पानी को देख के भगवान की याद कैसे आएगी?
क्योंकि वही है जो हमारी प्यास बुझाएगा. पानी में ही भगवान है.
ओके, पानी में ही भगवान है.
Tank like God के लिए.
ओके, भगवत गीता है आप लोगों के पास? यू हैव ब्रॉट भगवत गीता?
Taste of water.
Please take out, yes. 7.8. Krishna says, how can we see God in water? How to remember Krishna in water? When we see sun, when we see moon, when we see anything of this world, there is a way to remember God. Well, yeah, 7.8.
Yeah, Rasoham.
We'll recite this. Rasoham apsu kaunteya
Rasoham asu kanteya.
prabhashmi sashi suryayo
Prabhashmi sasi suryo.
pranava sarva vedeshu
Prabha sarva vedeshu.
shabda khe paurusham nishu.
Shabda shushu.
Translation, somebody?
O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable O or in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether and ability in the man.
So how to see God in water? He is the taste of water. Does water have a taste?
No.
नहीं?
It is there.
It's there? निर्जल एकादशी की आप लोगों ने? अगले दिन पानी में टेस्ट लगा? So that's the taste. Actually, everything has taste because water is there. If you eat something really dry, you can't even taste that. You need water to, access that taste. So water has a taste. Prabhashmi sashi suryayo, I am the splendor of the sun and the moon. When you see sun, oh, he is the splendor. It's the splendor of Lord. Sun and moon are the eyes of the Lord. It is also described. Similarly, anything you see in this world, they are just coming from the spark of the splendor of Krishna. Please take out 10th chapter, 40th verse. Krishna is giving a sutra, how to remember him always. How can you see the Lord in all the aspects of life? 10.40. Okay? This chapter is called the Opulence of the Absolute. In this, Krishna is giving many examples of how you can remember him when you see the powerful, opulent, attractive things of this world. Yadiyadi vibhutimat?
Tandosti.
That is 41.
41 लीजिए. 10.41. We'll recite this. यद यद विभूति मत सत्वम
Yadvat vipati matsatyam.
श्रीमद् ऊर्जितमेव वा
Srimad urjitameva.
तत्तदेवावगच्छत्वम्
Tattat eva gacchatam.
मम तेजो अंश संभवम्.
Mamo tejo asambhavam.
Translation.
Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring but a spark of my splendor.
All the opulent, glorious, beautiful, whatever you see in this world, what all things you are attracted by in this world? Any example of any personalities or anything?
Nature, beauty.
Okay, nature. When you see nature, okay, it is attractive. That is coming from the Lord. Oh, some famous cricket star is there. In this chapter, Krishna gives many examples. Pandavanam Dhananjaya, I am Arjun among the Pandavas. Among the Adityas, I am Surya, I am Vishnu, all these things. So when you see the things which are attractive in this world, of all the cricketers, I am Virat Kohli. अगर कृष्णा को आज का एग्जाम्पल देना रहता तो ऐसे देते, और वैभव सूर्यवंशी अभी लेटेस्ट वाला वही है. So that's how we have to be attracted by, that's how we have to remember Krishna always. But that should not make one feel, चलो देख के आते हैं दुनिया में कौन सी attractive चीज़ें हैं. All attractive things come from Krishna, but not all attractive things take you to Krishna. If we get absorbed in seeing the attractive things of this world, we may get distracted from Krishna. So that's how we cannot see the Lord directly, but we can connect with the Lord in all the walks of our life. Seeing the rains, okay, the rains, Indra is the Lord of the rains, and Indra, he is described as he is the hand of the Lord. So that's how, we have to learn how to connect everything with the Lord. That's how we will become Krishna conscious. That is the process, to become Krishna conscious. How to become conscious of Krishna? Connect everything to Krishna, because everything is coming from Krishna. 10.41 Krishna says this. Yad yad vibhuti mat sattvam Srimad urjitam. Anything opulent, attractive, they are all coming from spark of my splendor. So spark se itna aa raha hai. So how much more attractive Krishna must be? One time, Srila Prabhupada was sitting on an airport waiting for his flight, and one of his disciples were there. He was a young brahmachari, just now he had dedicated completely. He was sitting there with him, and a young lady passed by. And he was coming from American background, bichara 19-20 saal ka to hai. He started looking at the lady from this end to that end. And then he realized, oh, I am sitting with Prabhupada. So गलती करते हैं तो सबसे पहले क्या करते हैं? किसी ने देखा तो नहीं. He looks at Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was looking at him only. He became very embarrassed. And then Prabhupada said, beautiful, isn't she? He became more embarrassed. And then Prabhupada said, if the nature is so beautiful, how attractive Krishna must be. So that's how everything attractive comes from Krishna, but we should be very careful, otherwise we will be absorbed in the things and will not go to Krishna. So we can reconcile, okay, Lord has a form and he has a impersonal aspect also. How to reconcile this? Okay, it is a light which comes from the body of the Lord, which is impersonal. Just like if I tell you two statements. If I tell this person is fasting whole day, but still his weight is increasing. So how to reconcile these two statements? He is fasting whole day, but still his weight is increasing.
Eating in the night.
He is eating at night. So that's how you have to reconcile, मतलब कुछ तो connection होगा ना. Fasting है, अब weight भी बढ़ रहा है, मतलब something is there. Okay, so Lord has a form and he has an impersonal aspect also. How to reconcile? It is the light which comes from the body of the Lord. The Lord has many contradictory features. As it is said, Lord is tad ejati, tad naijati, tad dure, tad avantike, tad antarasya sarvasya, tadu sarvasyasya bahyatah. This is Isha Upanishad. Tad ejati, tad naijati. He is there and he is not here. Tad dure, he is very far, but he is very near. Tad antarasya sarvasya, he is inside everyone, but he is outside of everyone also. How to reconcile this? How to understand these statements? Lord is near, Lord is far.
He's everywhere.
He is everywhere. He is there. He is expanding in everyone's heart. He is very near. But he is there in Goloka Vrindavan also. He is there in Vaikuntha also. He is inside. He is outside. Antarasya sarvasya, sarvasyasya bahyatah. So this is called as contradictory feature. Virodha bhanjika shakti. The Lord has a very wonderful potency which is called as Virodha Bhanjika. That means Lord can reconcile many contradictory things. वो एक गाना था ना पहले अनहोनी को होनी कर दे. If ordinary person can say it like this, what's difficult for the Lord to do this? So all these things we should understand, Lord can reconcile. There's a beautiful verse in 3rd canto of Bhagavatam. There Uddhava is remembering the Lord and he's saying, my Lord is so wonderful. He has no work to do in this world, but still he is working. He is maintaining family. He is maintaining kingdom. क्या जरूरत है भगवान को? All his potencies are working, but still he works. He is self-satisfied. He doesn't need anyone, but still he marries how many queens? 16,108 queens. Fear personified fears Krishna. And he is running out of fear of whom? One time he ran away from the battle. Anyone remembers? No? रणछोड़. किसके डर से भाग गए वो? Jarasandha. Why he has to run? अरे fear personified fears Krishna. मदभयाद वाति वातोयम सूर्यस्तपति मदभयात वर्षाति इंद्रो दहति अग्नि मृत्युश्चरति मदभयात. Krishna says, Out of my fear the sun rises. Out of my fear the wind blows. Out of my fear death comes. तो उनको क्या जरूरत है भयभीत होने का? And we seen Damodar Leela. What is happening? Damodar Leela we have heard. Small boy Krishna. Rudantam mohuranetra yugmam mrijantam karambhoja yugamena satanka netram. Mother Yashoda is carrying a little stick. And Krishna, what is happening to Krishna? He's crying Rudantam. Again and again rubbing his eyes. Because every time Krishna cries, Yashoda comes and pacifies Krishna. But this time it is not happening. ये तो उल्टा हो रहा है इस बार क्या चल रहा है ये? So now his eyes are full of not fear, not bhai, it is atank. You know what is the difference between bhai and atank?
It's within, Atang is from outside.
स्टूडेंट्स के लैंग्वेज में बोलेंगे ना, जब तक आप एग्जाम है आज तो जब तक आपको एग्जाम का क्वेश्चन पेपर नहीं मिलता है तब तक भय होता है, और आपने नहीं पढ़ाई की है
Atang.
तो आपको पेपर मिलता है तो क्या होता है फिर? आतंक. That means now you can't do anything. It is all hopeless case.
Out of syllabus.
Out of syllabus है वो. So for Krishna it is आतंक नेत्रम. Because अभी सोच रहे हैं अभी तो पिटाई होने ही वाली है अभी. So that is Krishna. Fear personified fears him, and he is fearful of a small stick of Mother Yashoda. कर्माणि हस्य भवो भवस्य ते दुर्गा श्रयोथारि भयात् पलायनम कालात्मनो यत् प्रमदायुताश्रम स्वात्मन रते खिद्यति धीर विदामह. Uddhav says these three things. Karmani anyasya, no work to do, still he is working. Durga Shrayo, he is taking shelter of a fort in Dwarka out of fear of Jarasandha. He is self-satisfied. He is marrying 16,000 queens. It is so very bewildering. So Krishna can bewilder anyone. So that's how we have to understand God has a very, very wonderful potency. So some people say, okay, how can you represent spiritual in matter? God is spiritual, right? And the stone is matter. How can you represent any spiritual in matter? It is not so good. You can't do it. We know there is matter and there is spirit, right? Gross matter, earth, water, fire, air, ether. Subtle matter, mind, intelligence, ego. And the soul, Atma. And then super soul, Paramatma. So Paramatma is all spiritual. So how can you represent God in matter? People forget that God can do anything. He can appear in matter also if he desires. And it is not that, okay, Lord appears in matter. How can he appear in matter? Sometimes a governor or a president also visits a jail. That does not mean that, okay, president also did some crime or what. One time, Prime Minister, he went to visit one jail. And as he entered he went to visit a mental asylum. So as he entered that mental asylum, he saw one person sitting and he asked, who are you? So he told his name, that, okay, what was the problem here? He said, I have some mental issues, now I am recovering. So then this person asked, who are you? Yeah, he's asking Prime Minister. So Prime Minister says, I am Prime Minister of India. So this person says, you are at the right place. Before coming to this mental asylum, I was also speaking like this. So Prime Minister can go anywhere. That does not mean he is a mental person. That does not mean he is a criminal. So Lord can appear in any form. He is not restricted like us. He can appear in any way, in any form. This is a true story. One time there was a Muslim person and he went to a mosque and he asked the priest there, क्या बोलते हैं उनको? Maulana. So he said, if God is everywhere, is God is in stool also? So this priest became really angry. He said, "How can you say like this? This is offense to God. Get out of this mosque." And this person was really genuine. He wanted to understand what is God. So he became really disgusted. What is this? I asked a very genuine question and he drove me out of the mosque. And then this person, he was very sad. He was roaming around. And then, as he was passing by, a book distributor came. Some devotees from ISKCON, they were distributing book. And he gave Ishopanishad to this person. And Ishopanishad, Prabhupada writes a line that God is everywhere, even in stool. So this person, he said, "Wow, this is what I wanted to know. If God is everywhere, is he in stool also?" Yes, but he is not affected by anything of this world. It is just like the sun can evaporate water from filthy place also. Anytime the wife of sun god says, "Aaj bahut smell aa raha hai aapse," never. God is never affected by anything external. So therefore, the Lord can appear in any form. He can appear as a fish also. Fish is not generally a very nice, wonderful species. It is condemned species. It is described that of all the meat eaters, fish eaters are the worst. You know why? Because fish eats everything. All the animals, whatever is there in the ocean or the river, fish eats everything. So the person who is eating fish, he is eating everything. So the Lord appears in fish also, fish form. That does not mean he gets contaminated. He appears as the Kurmadev, Varahadev. Varaha is, pigs, they eat stool. But when Lord appears as Varaha, he is worshipped. He is worshipped as the form of Yajna. He is Yajna personified. To do Yajna, you have to be really clean. Any of you have sat in Yajna any time? Yajna में बैठे होंगे ना? सब एकदम fresh clothes and you should be very clean. And personification of Yajna is appearing in the form of a pig, the most filthy animal, who likes all the stool and the dirt. मतलब मुंबई में तो दिखते नहीं है. आप लोगों ने देखा है? Jenna, you have seen pigs? देखा है? So मतलब pigs भी देखे होंगे तो अच्छे वाले pigs देखे होंगे. ऐसा गांव के एकदम ऐसा जो they are rolling in mud and they are making all the grunting sound. मैं नहीं निकालूंगा.
Sorry. It's boar or it's pig?
It's boar, basically. Wild boar. There's a little difference between boar and pig. But both have same features. They both are attracted by stool. They eat filthy things. So the Lord took the form so that he wanted to enter the deepest regions of the Garbhodak ocean because it is filthy. So to enter a filthy place, you have to be in that form. So the Lord appeared in that form. That does not mean he is contaminated. He is spiritual. Now, can we accept any matter as God? You must have seen some people, they put some stone or some form on the roadside and start worshipping, and then यहाँ पे मंदिर बन गया, यहाँ पे भगवान आ गए, and the line of people they come. Can we worship any form as God? Any stone as God? कोई भी पत्थर उठा के लेके आइए, उनकी पूजा करना शुरू करिए. Any way you can worship? No. God's manifestation can be seen at 3 levels. When the Lord appears in the form of deities, the Lord is directly appearing as the deity. Now the question was, Krishna is in the deity or Krishna is the deity? What's the answer?
In the deity.
How many of you say Krishna is in the deity? How many of you say Krishna is the deity? मतलब मूर्ति ही भगवान है. मूर्ति और भगवान में अंतर नहीं है. अच्छा, सब लोग बोलते हैं Krishna is in the deity. Okay, which part of the deity Krishna is there?
All.
Krishna is in the deity, right? So which part? Krishna is a person, right?
whole part.
All parts.
Kan kan
कहीं
mein.
तो होंगे ना, कण कण में है, but when you are worshipping the deity, what's the understanding? So this verse says, Pratima nahi tumi sakshat vrajendra nandan. It is described in scriptures when you worship the deities of the Lord after their prana pratishtha, or we worship any deity which is representing that deity. We are not just worshipping God who is in the deity. God becomes the deity himself. It is not that God is there somewhere in the deity. No, whatever we are seeing externally, we are seeing the Lord directly. भगवान मूर्ति में है तो भगवान आपको दिख रहे हैं?
प्राण है ना, प्राण
मूर्ति में है तो कहाँ है? दिख रहे हैं? If God is there inside the deity, can we see God inside the deity?
is prana of deity.
That is the understanding we should have, that Lord is not inside the deity somewhere. Lord has appeared as the deity. He is not in the deity. मूर्ति में नहीं है. भगवान मूर्ति के स्वरूप में यहाँ पे विराजमान है. He is there in front of us. When we are seeing the deities of the Lord, we are not seeing something imaginary कि इनके अंदर भगवान होंगे कण कण में. अरे सामने जो दिख रहे हैं, He is God. Lord is spiritual. So what? Lord can appear in matter for our welfare. Otherwise, how we will see the Lord? We can't see spiritual. So the Lord agrees to appear as matter. So that is very important. So some matter directly manifests as God, like the deities form. Deities are there. Scriptures are there. Scriptures are non-different than God. You know, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, they are not books. They are the form of the Lord. They are not something which is representing the Lord. They are the Lord directly. This is a beautiful verse which comes in Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishne sudhamopagate dharma jnanadivish saha kalau nashta drishamesha puran arka adhunoditaha. When the Lord left for his spiritual world at the end of Dwapar Yuga, he again appeared as Puran. Which Puran? Bhagavat Puran. So the Lord is the deity. Lord is the Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord is the scripture. To give just some another example. Now, some matter can get spiritualized in due course of time when it comes in touch with God. When you put iron in fire, after some time, iron becomes fiery. You touch the iron, you will be burnt. Similarly, the body of a spiritual practitioner, although it is matter, body is matter, but by the practice of spirituality, by the practice of devotional service, the body also becomes spiritualized in due course of time. That also happens. So therefore, the bodies of great saintly people, they are not buried or burnt. They are not burnt. उनको क्या बोलते हैं? उनको समाधि देते हैं. Generally in Indian tradition, the body is burnt, right? Otherwise, it is not auspicious if the body is not burnt. But for saintly people, their body is not burnt. Why? सोचा है कभी? क्यों नहीं जलाते हैं? Because that body is not ordinary matter. By the practice of spirituality, this body is spiritualized now. Although the body has gone through changes, but the body is still spiritual. I think somebody had put, I think Anuj Prabhu had put a video in the Friday wala group mein, Ramanujacharya wala. In Srirangam, there is a deity of Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya, he is a Acharya, the great teacher of Sri Sampradaya. He appeared many 100 years back, I think in 1700 or something. His body is there in the temple, worshipped still. So that is how the power of the spiritual practice, the body becomes spiritualized. So that's how some matter gets spiritualized in due course of time. And of course, when we say Bhagwan Kan Kan mein hai, that is also right. Lord is there everywhere. Lord is there as the deity. Lord is there as scriptures. And some great saintly practitioners, they also become spiritual in due course of time. This is a verse spoken by Brahmaji. Andantarastha paramanu chayantarastam. Andantarastha. He is there in this universe. He is there in every atom also. Bhagwan Kan Kan mein actually hai. That's why when by mistake if we touch somebody with our feet, what we do? Why we do that?
क्षमा मांगते हैं,
क्यों?
उसमें भगवान है.
Because every body has a Lord inside. This body is a temple of the Lord. So that's why we respect everyone. Everybody has Lord sitting inside his heart. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hridadeshe Arjuna tishtati 18 chapter 61st verse Krishna says this. So that's how it is. Okay, so now to understand little more, how can ordinary matter get transformed into spiritual? Okay, if you go to a shop, vada pav wale shop, and that vada pav wala says, sir, थोड़ा अभी पेपर प्लेट्स खत्म हो गया है, आपके पास 500 वाला नोट होगा ना, वो दीजिए ना, उस पर डाल के देता वड़ा पाव, पेपर ही देना है ना. आप क्या बोलेंगे?
लक्ष्मी है.
पागल हो गए. What's the difference? That paper plate is also paper, and your 500 rupee note is also paper. What makes it different?
Process of conversion.
What gives it value?
Printing on
Reserve
it.
Bank of India.
Reserve Bank of India. वो नासिक में प्रिंटिंग प्रेस है ना, करेंसी प्रिंटिंग प्रेस है, ना जानते हैं आप लोग? नासिक में देयर इज अ प्रिंटिंग प्रेस.
नागपुर में भी है.
अच्छा, नासिक, ओके, नागपुर में भी होगा. नासिक में आई हैव सीन. So on one side where the raw material is put, there are only two guards with lathi standing there. On the other side where the note is coming out, you'll have all the gunmen standing. What made the difference? सेम मटेरियल इधर से अंदर जा रहा है, सेम बाहर आ रहा है, इधर लाठी लेके खड़े हैं, इधर गनमैन आर स्टैंडिंग. व्हाट मेक्स द डिफरेंस? बिकॉज देयर इज अ प्रोसेस. इन दैट प्रोसेस दैट स्ट्रिप इज एडेड, फिर वहाँ पे गवर्नर का स्टैंप रहता है, मैं धारक को 500 रुपये अदा करने का वचन देता हूँ. पढ़ा है ना वो कहीं? उसमें अलग अलग लैंग्वेज में लिखे रहते हैं, 15-20 लैंग्वेज में. So all that thing makes the note authenticized. It is not just a paper now. It is now a currency note. The same thing. अभी ये तो obsolete हो गया आजकल. Post box. Post box में letter डाले आप लोगों ने? Yeah, you have put letter in post box and time. जी है ना?
Yes.
नहीं, आप लोगों ने तो डाला ही रहेगा. यंग जनरेशन को पूछ रहा हूँ. So if somebody says, okay, post box means a red box, ठीक है ना, मैं घर में एक red box बना देता हूँ, उसमें लेटर डालेंगे, so it will go. What makes it different? Because that is authorized by government. You can't make any red box and think that, okay, if I'll put letter in this, it will go to the destination. So that's how. Similarly, when people say, okay, any stone can be worshipped as God. No, any stone cannot be worshipped as God. There is a process which is called as prana pratishtha. It's like we all have heard and seen, darshan bhi kiye honge, this wonderful deity of Lord Ram. So in any temple where the deities are there, there is a wonderful process called as prana pratishtha. And I'll show you a very wonderful video about the person who carved this beautiful deity of Ram Lalla. What is he saying? क्या हो गया?
Almost I spent time in the Garbhagruh installation.
एक मिनट.
प्रतिष्ठापन होने के बाद मैं उधर ही था 10 दिन ऑलमोस्ट आई स्पेंड टाइम विद इन द गर्भगृह इंस्टॉलेशन का दे रहा था कुछ मार्किंग देना था अलंकार होने के बाद मैं उसके सामने बैठा था ऐसा ही मेरे को लगा ये मेरा काम नहीं है
आप भी अपने लाल को नहीं पहचान पाए जिसको आपने गढ़ा 7 महीने अपने मतलब गर्भ की जगह आपने हृदय के गर्भ में रखा उसको आप नहीं पहचान पाए
नहीं वो बहुत चेंज हो गया वो अंदर जाते ही भगवान बहुत चेंज हो गया
So that is the process of prana pratishtha. In any authentic temple, the deities, they are installed. And in that installation, it is a huge process. In ISKCON also, it is a 3-4 day process. Where the senior devotees, advanced devotees, they pray to the Lord, they invite the Lord. Oh Lord, you stay here as the deity. So the Lord doesn't appear in the deity, He becomes the deity. It is not that Bhagwan Murti mein hai. The Lord becomes the deity. And when we worship any form which is resembling that form, that's how we are offering our worship, and that worship goes to that pran pratishthit deity. When we are worshipping Krishna or Ram or whatever in our homes, there is an authentic form of the Lord. And we are worshipping our form, so the worship goes there. So that's how it is so very important to understand what we are doing. So this is what we discussed. Krishna is not in the deity. Krishna is the deity. So this is Pran Pratishtha. I was there for this. एक पालघर में एक deity installation होता है ISKCON का. Nice, wonderful deities. So that's how Krishna, although he is not easily accessible, we can't access the Lord. But as the deity, he becomes easily accessible. Even a child can worship. Child can also pray. Anybody can pray and see the Lord. So although he is paratva, he is not easily accessible. He becomes sulabhatva. He becomes very easily accessible. So that's how it is. So now some people say, okay, if God is the deity, why can't he protect himself? We have seen in the history when Aurangzeb attacked India, many temples were destroyed, many deities were destroyed. So some people say, Bhagwan Murti hai, so why he is not able to protect himself? There is one very famous religious sect. So the leader of that, once he went to Lord Shiva temple and he saw the rats were moving around the Shivlinga. So he said that this is the Lord you are worshipping. He cannot even protect himself. How will he protect us? How can you worship the deities of the Lord? Lord is not in the deity. Otherwise, he should have protected himself. अरे खुद की रक्षा नहीं कर रहे, हमारी रक्षा क्या करेंगे? And we see so many broken deities. Narasimhadev's deities are broken. He is a supreme powerful God. So if he can't protect himself, how can he protect us? So if somebody asks you, क्या बोलेंगे आप लोग? बराबर बोल रहे.
He doesn't care. So he's in every form, so he doesn't care. This form करो, कुछ भी करो.
Okay, but you are saying that God is the deity, so why he is not able to protect himself?
God is giving us a chance to do his seva.
Yes, that's the understanding. Every avatar has a purpose. The Lord appears for a purpose. Just like 4.7 Krishna says, what's the purpose of Lord's appearance? Yada yada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharata. सब कुछ इंडिया में तो सब लोग जानते हैं श्लोक. Similarly, when the Lord appears as the deity, Archa avatar, it is avatar of the Lord. Archa avatar. हिंदी में बोलते हैं Archa vigraha. English में deities, हिंदी में Archa vigraha. So when the Lord appears as deity, what is the purpose? To give us a chance to serve him. The Lord doesn't appear as the deity to show his power. He appears as deity so that we can serve. That's the purpose. So we should not feel, अरे भगवान कैसे हैं, अपने आप को नहीं बचा रहे, हमको कैसे बचाएंगे? Can the deity ever show miracles? चमत्कार दिखाते हैं क्या भगवान? क्योंकि मतलब कई बार बोलते हैं अरे यहाँ पे जागृत देवता है, क्यों बाकी जगह सो रहे हैं? जागृत देव है, he responds, he reciprocates. So the deities, they also reciprocate. But when the miracles are shown, generally, it attracts sentimental people. चमत्कार दिखाते हैं, इच्छाओं की पूर्ति होती है. There is one गणेश deity, उनका नाम है वीजा गणेश. वीजा नहीं मिल रहा है ना, वो वाले गणेश की पूजा करो. पासपोर्ट बालाजी, देखो ऐसे ऐसे. So all these are sentimental followers. Lord is not meant for all these material things. Of course, the Lord is so merciful, He fulfills these material desires also. But if somebody says, अरे वाह चमत्कार दिखाते हैं, अच्छे वाले भगवान हैं, और ये वाले भगवान तो सोते रहते हैं, कुछ चमत्कार नहीं दिखाते हैं. No, the Lord can show miracles. But why we want to see miracles? Arey, Lord is showing miracles in this world. The world is full of miracles. ये rainy season में clouds देखिए, is it not a miracle? So many tons and tons of liters of water are there. The nature is full of miracles. चलिए आपको नेचर का मिराकल दिखाता हूँ. You have seen chameleons any time? बोलते हैं ना गिरगिट की तरह रंग बदलता है. So how the girgit chameleon changes color? It is such a miracle of God. Why we want to see miracles only? अरे ये वाला पूरी करेंगे तो miracle है. The Lord is showing miracle through the nature. In every aspect of the nature we can see miracle happening. But many times we are not so much attracted to the miracles of the world. We are attracted by the miracles which happens in our life. अरे चमत्कार हो गया. So no scientist can create this. This is a miracle. So when people say, अरे भगवान चमत्कार दिखाते हैं कि nature is full of चमत्कार. Problem is we don't have the vision to see the chamatkar, the miracles of the world. So that's how it is. Okay. Okay, so now we'll see some real life stories of how the deities ever show miracles. It is a true story. In our temple, there is a Srinathji, Gopalji deity is there, Radha Gopinath temple. One time a Christian person came and as he was standing in front of the deity, started crying. So devotees asked, what happened? Are you alright? He said, yes. Last night he came in my dream and he told me to go to temple and chant Hare Krishna mantra. That's why I've come here searching for this temple. So that's how it is. Deities show miracles. There's a beautiful story of Sakshi Gopal. You have heard the story of Sakshi Gopal deity? One time there were two Brahmanas, an old Brahman and a young Brahman. They were staying in Vijayanagar in South India. They went on a pilgrimage. And this old Brahman was assisted by the young one. They went to Vrindavan and this young Brahman was serving him very nicely, the old one. And the old one became really happy and he said, I want to give you something in return. I have a very wonderful, beautiful daughter, full of wonderful qualities. I want to give my daughter to you in marriage. So this young Brahman says, I didn't serve you to get something. I served you because the Lord is pleased when the devotees are served. I don't want anything in return. So he says, no. I have decided that I'll give my daughter to you. So this young Brahman says, but I am a poor person. You are a rich Brahman. Your family will not agree. फिल्मों में ऐसा होता है ना. Girl is rich and boy is poor. तो family नहीं allow कर रहे हैं. So the old person says, I am giving you my promise that I will give my daughter in marriage to you. So this young Brahman says, you give Sakshi in front of the Lord. That time they were in front of a deity of Gopalji, which is there in Vrindavan. Gopalji के एक विग्रह है. They were there in temple. So he tells this old Brahman, you stand in front of the deity and tell the deity that I'll give my daughter to you. So he said, he made the promise, and then after this promise was over, all these two Brahmanas, they came back. Young Brahman went to his village, old Brahman came to his village. And then after a few days he starts thinking that I have given a promise. He tells his family members, I have given a promise to this young Brahman. I want to give my daughter to him in marriage. And all the family members, they started shouting. His wife was saying, I'll commit suicide, I'll eat poison. And the relatives came and said, how can you say this? Naam badnaam ho jayega hamara. We can't do this. And this son of this Brahman said, if you don't have to do anything, father. You know, when this young Brahman comes and asks for my sister, you just say that I don't remember what I said. बाकी हम देख लेंगे. So 2 months passed by. No invitation from this old Brahman. So young Brahman came. And he asked, oh old Brahmana, you have made a promise. What is happening? You are not saying anything. So this old Brahman says, I don't know what I spoke. And this young man said, his son, he said, this young Brahman, he made my father speak something after making him eat some dhatura, some intoxication. Dhatura is a very intoxicant. So he said, you know, this young Brahman is a very duplicitous person. And this young Brahman, he was really confused what to do. And the son of this old Brahman, he came with a stick and he was about to beat this young Brahman. So bichara young Brahman ran away and he called all the village people. Aisa aisa chal raha hai. He's not giving his daughter in marriage. He made a vow. So the people said, who was the witness? He said, अरे भगवान के सामने साक्षी दिया है. So this young Brahman says, okay, if I'll get the Lord, then all of you will accept because he is a witness. So everybody said yes, 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 because everybody thought abhi Bhagwan kahan aane wale hain aap. So he walked all the way from Vijayanagar to Vrindavan again. It is a long journey, 2-3 mahina ka journey hai, on foot. And he went to the deities and said, oh deity, oh Lord, oh Gopalji, I have a problem. And that time young Brahman told Gopalji, साक्षी दिया आपने, प्रॉब्लम होगा ना तो आपको बुलाऊंगा मैं. So he came and he said, you have to now come. So Gopalji says, have you ever heard deity walking? So the young Brahman says, if deity can speak, he can walk also, come with me. So the Lord said, okay, ठीक है. He said, I'll walk behind you. Every day you offer me 2 kilo rice. And other than that, you don't look behind. How will I understand that you are coming? You can hear my ankle bells. That's how the Lord walked from Vrindavan all the way to Vijayanagar. And then Vijayanagar he reached and this Brahmana called all the people and said, oh, Lord has come. And that's how they all agreed. So that's why this deity was called as Sakshi Gopal. जो साक्षी देने आए हैं. So the Lord also walks. And that deity is still there in Remuna. Or not in Remuna. Just some distance before Jagannath Puri. The deity is still there. विजयनगर से वो deity वहाँ पे shift हो गए. उसका अलग story है. One of the kings. So that's how the deity is. हमारे जुहू के मंदिर दर्शन किए होंगे आप लोग. राधा रास बिहारी. For many years, for more than 30 years, there was a Muslim tailor who would make the dress of the deities. He would stitch the dress. मतलब devotee जैसा ही था. He was a Muslim. And he would tell every year I have to retake the measurement of your deities. बदलते रहते हो. कभी थोड़ा पतले होते हैं, कभी मोटे होते हैं. So every year he would take measurement. मतलब he would tell the pujaris that please take measurement. So that's how the Lord is. The deities are not stones. They are directly the Lord. So what we should do now? By all this, we have to learn that we have to connect to the Lord by serving Him, by chanting His glories, by chanting the names of the Lord, by offering bhoga to the Lord. घर में भगवान है. What we have to do is we have to feed Him. नहीं, भगवान तो नमक वाला नहीं खाते ना. क्यों भाई? क्यों नहीं खाते नमक वाला? He eats everything. Just offer whatever we have made without onion garlic, of course. Offer to the Lord. Eat prasad. So that is how we have to understand. And then slowly you will experience the higher taste. The taste of Krishna consciousness. Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Yes.
Prabhuji, in idol worship, when we say idol, we do the pran prasasta and all that, then only will come. But do we do the same thing for the festivals like Ganesh Chaturthi, Durga Puja and all that, and then we put it in the water?
There are two types of deities. It comes in the 11th canto of Bhagavatam. There are some temporary deities and there are permanent deities. Temporary deities we do avahan and visarjan. For permanent deities we don't do avahan and visarjan. So there are some provisions, but the temporary deity should be made either in sand or in clay, so that they completely melt, not in POP. आज का invention है वो.
China का invention.
हाँ. So avahan and visarjan also is recommended for temporary deity. You invite the Lord, you worship Him for some time, and then you put the deities in water, so that the elements they get merged. So that's how it is. But आजकल के तो गणेश चतुर्थी में क्या क्या करते हैं? Actually, this Ganesh Chaturthi festival is started by Lokmanya Tilak. It is not mentioned in scriptures. Socialization. It was just to bring people together. So that's why anything which is not done according to scriptures, it creates some problems. Because Krishna says in 17th chapter, Yas shastra vidim utsrijya vartate kamakarata nasa siddhim avapnoti na sukham na paramgatim. Shastra vidhi utsrijya. If you give up the injunctions of scriptures, vartate kamakarata, and you invent something according to your own speculation, your own mind, what will be the result? Nasa siddhi avapnoti. You will not achieve perfection. Na sukham. No paramgatim, no higher destination, no happiness in the long run. So that's why whenever some festivals are organized, they should be organized according to scriptures. Otherwise, the festival goes in the background and the enjoyment is in the front. That is what is happening. Okay. Yes, just a question for us. Haan, please.
So why did Krishna choose Arjun and not Yudhishthira or anybody else? Like for Gita discourse and getting it to us. Why not somebody else?
Yeah, of all the Pandavas, Arjun is... Of all the Pandavas are great devotees, but Arjun was a very dear friend of Krishna. Krishna himself says the reason of this in 4th chapter, 3rd verse. Sa evayam mayate adya yoga prokta puratana bhaktosi me sakhache iti rahasyam hetad uttamam. Arjun, why I am giving this knowledge to you only? Because you are my sakha and you are my bhakta. You are my friend and you are my devotee. So that was the reason. Arjun was a very, very intimate friend of Krishna. That does not mean Yudhishthira was not. He was also a very pure devotee. He was a pure devotee of the Lord. Arjun had a very special relation with Krishna. That's why in 10th chapter, Krishna says, Pandavanam Dhananjaya. Of all the Pandavas, I am Dhananjay. I am Arjun. Arjun is a special personality. He appears with the Lord in many, many avatars. Nar Narayan Rishis. Suna hai aap logon ne? Nar Narayan Rishis. Who is Nara? That is Arjun. Narayan is Krishna. So they both are very intimately related. So Nara and Narayan, Arjun and Krishna. So that's the understanding. Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, there are some deities which are man-made. Some deities which we say Swambhu.
Swambhu, yeah.
So how we do the same thing for them? Because
same thing.
Even Pran Pratishtha for Swambhu also?
No. For Swambhu deities, Pran Pratishtha is not required. Just like all the Shaligrams. Shaligram सुना होंगे ना आप लोग? जो गंडकी नदी में मिलते हैं. They are all Swayambhu. You don't need Pran Pratishtha of Shaligram Shila. That's why in all the Vishnu temples you will find Shaligram. Actually, in all the Devata temples also you will find Shaligram. Ideal traditional Devata temples. You go to any Devata temple, you go to Lord Shiva, you go to Ganeshji, Durga, you will find Shaligram for sure. Why? Because anything is first offered to Shaligram and then that is offered to the deities, Devatas. Then only Devatas accept. Ordinary Vaishnavas also don't eat anything without being offered, without offering something to the Lord. Devatas are the devotees of the Lord. वो क्यों खाएंगे बिना भगवान का भोग लगाए हुए? आप देंगे तो. So that is ideal Devata worship also. So Shaligram is our Swayambhu. वो राधा रमन है. That came from Shaligram.
Shaligram.
जैसे बहुत सारे deities हैं. They are Swayambhu. They are self-manifested. In Ahobilam, there are 9 forms of Narsimhadev. They are all self-manifested. अपने आप प्रकट हुए हैं वो. किसी ने बनाया नहीं है. There are many deities like that. Swayambhu. So Swayambhu को प्राण प्रतिष्ठा नहीं लगता है. For man-made deities, we need प्राण प्रतिष्ठा. पहले अच्छा ठीक है पूछ. You can.
So, Prabhuji, you said that जैसे if our feet touch somebody, so we do this, right? Or feet जो है वो मतलब duty की तरफ नहीं होना चाहिए. But at the same time, we also touch everybody's feet when we want to take Ashirwad. So why are feet singled out as part of the body which is maybe not pure, is disrespectful when we touch? Why is that?
Because naturally the feet are in touch with the ground and it gets contaminated by the things. So that's how feet are not considered so pure always. Because we are walking and so many things are there on the ground. It gets contaminated. So that's why feet are not considered so much pure. So we are careful not to touch our feet to anyone. Because it gets in touch with all things of this earth which are not so pure. So we are careful. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, we should consider not doing pran pratishtha of home deities.
Yeah, generally at home we don't do pran pratishtha. Because pran pratishtha deity means so many rules and regulations. In temple, deities are like kings. In home, deities are like small child. What's the difference? King, you have to follow the rules and regulations and the schedule of the king. You can't tell the king, thoda baad mein aata hu. No, you have to be really strict, disciplined. इस समय पे होना ही चाहिए. Otherwise, punishment. When the Lord appears in home, then he takes a different mood. He is like a child. You decide your rules and you follow them. There also strictness is required. You should not be really spontaneous कि भाई मेरा मन आया तो भोग लगा रहे हैं, मेरा मन आया तो नहीं लगा रहे हैं. One time a lady came with Laddu Gopal and she was saying, मेरे लड्डू गोपाल ना बहुत अच्छे हैं, reciprocate करते हैं. Last week I was cleaning them and Laddu Gopal jumped out of my hand. मतलब गिर गए deities. तो ये क्या बोल रही है? So we should be really careful in worshipping the deities. We can't say कि भाई मेरे तो मन में भाव बहुत अच्छा है. अरे भाव कैसा भी हो आपका. But we should be careful in dealing with the deities. Okay, that's important.
We should fix schedule for
Yes. ये टाइम पे भोग लगाना है, ये टाइम पे आरती करनी है. You decide. Just like in our temple, in all the ISKCON temples and generally in the authentic bona fide temples, that आरती timings are fixed. एक मिनट भी आप आगे पीछे नहीं देखेंगे ISKCON temple में तो. Prabhupada has made strict rules and strict timings. Prabhupada said deity worship means 2 things: punctuality and cleanliness. These 2 are the very essential requirements. Punctual. ऐसा नहीं कि दर्शन कब खुलेगा? हाँ खुलेगा. कब? हाँ खुल रहा है. आधा घंटा पहले खुलेगा ना. अभी भगवान भोग लगा रहे, भगवान को भोग लग रहा है. No, it is not like that. You have to be really strict. One person came and said, your ISKCON temple is very well organized. wherever I went in this world, 4:30 शंख बजता ही है सुबह में, and then 5 o'clock आरती ends. उसके बाद क्या होता है वो नहीं देखते वो लोग. उसके बाद जपा होता है, उसके बाद all the chaos starts when service is there. But आरती timings and seva timings, they are fixed. 5 o'clock in our temple, भोगा, भगवान को रसगुल्ला, रसमलाई, बर्फी, संदेश, कंडेंस्ड मिल्क, ये सब सुबह 4:30 बजे भोग लगता है. If somebody says I am God, begin with this. रोज सुबह ये खिलाओ. बोले नहीं होगा भाई, एक दिन चलता है. कितना दिन. उसके बाद वो खा लिया सुबह में 4 रसगुल्ला, 4 रसमलाई. अभी आवर्स इज बिग वन. जिन्होंने नहीं खाया ना, प्लीज कम टू टेम्पल. वो सुबह वाला जो भोग है, दैट इज वेरी वेरी वंडरफुल. उसके बाद 7:30 अगेन भोगा इज देयर. उसमें 4 बर्फी, संदेश, कंडेंस्ड मिल्क अगेन, फिर एक और स्वीट. देन 9:30 बजे अगेन पूरी, सब्जी एंड फरसान एंड स्वीट्स, बर्फी, संदेश. उसके बाद 12 o'clock का राजभोग. उसमें 5-6 टाइप्स ऑफ स्वीट्स, 2-3 प्रकार का पूरी, पराठे, 2-3 टाइप्स ऑफ राइस. हो गया इधर ही. फिर 4:30, 4 o'clock अगेन फ्रूट्स, 6 टाइप्स ऑफ फ्रूट्स आर ऑफर्ड. देन अगेन 6:30 फुल भोग, संध्या भोग फुल. फिर रात में फिर रबड़ी. इतना कौन खा सकता है भाई? ओनली गॉड कैन ईट ऑल दिस. सो ऑल दीज आर स्ट्रिक्ट रूल्स. होना है तो होना ही है. घर में यू डिसाइड. ओके, यस. Okay, we'll take last 2 questions.
Prabhuji, in Shri Sampradaya, Ramanuj Sampradaya, they generally they chant the name of Ramanuj Santa. So
नहीं, they chant Om Namo Narayana है ना?
No, first they chant Ramanuja ना, Shri Ramanujaya Namaha.
Okay, हाँ, that's the guru ना, तो उनका नाम तो बोलते हैं.
The devotees generally chant only Ramanujaya. So what is better? If we are serving the God, we should chant God's name.
Of course.
Or devotees, like, because God will be happy, na, if we serve devotee then.
Okay, that is there, but in terms of recommendation, the scriptures, they always recommend chant the names of God. We worship gurus as God. We worship gurus like gods, but we don't put them in the position of God. And ये भगवान हो गए. We worship them as God. Just like we also in the beginning of our Hare Krishna mantra, we also chant na Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale. This is a Guru mantra. That is taking blessings from the Lord, from the gurus, so that we can chant properly. But gurus are meant to take us to God. If we are chanting the name of Guru only, they may have some different understanding. I don't want to comment on that. But our tradition is,
they also consider if we serve devotee, it's better than serving Lord. We have to serve devotee. Then the God will be much happier if we
at
serve
which
a
stage
devotee.
we'll start serving the Lord then? बोलने भगवान की पूजा सेवा करेंगे तो कब आप करेंगे भगवान की सेवा? Okay, you worship the devotees, you worship gurus, that is not a problem, that should be done, but that should bring us to worship of Krishna, worship of God. So at which stage you will think, अच्छा अब मैं भगवान की सेवा करना शुरू करता हूँ. So that is the difference in the understanding. You know, we also worship God. Guru is as good as worshipped like God. Sakshat haritvena samasta shastrai uktastata bhagavata eva sadbhi. Sakshat haritvena, you worship Guru as God, but you don't make Guru as God. You worship him, give him all the respect. But if Guru starts saying I am God, then you have to reject that Guru. Because Guru can never become God. Guru is always a representative of God. He will take all the worship and he will transfer that worship to God. He will not keep it with himself. That is the Guru's role. He is transparent via media. That is parampara. Yes, Project.
One question.
Yeah.
Yes. We say idols. We say Swambhu and man-made. But there are some, like we worship Govardhan Parvat, Ganga Maya, they are not having any forms of idols or anything, but we still say they are God.
Yeah.
So-
Ganga is not God. Govardhan is God.
Govardhan is God.
Because Krishna himself said that.
Shivling in this Amarnath that comes up.
That is a representation of God.
Yeah.
That's representation of Lord Shiva.
तो उनका भी प्राण प्रतिष्ठा होता है, कैसा होता है? How do
नहीं,
we
वो तो
say
स्वयंभू
that?
है ना, वो अमरनाथ वाले तो स्वयंभू है ना शिवलिंग.
Shambhu, how about Govardhan? Because we just said.
Govardhan is not different than Lord because it is mentioned in scriptures.
Okay.
That is mentioned. Bhagavatam mein it is himself, Krishna himself says, Shailo Asmi Iti. I am Govardhan. I am non-different. Krishna himself says. So that's why we accept what Govardhan as God himself. So that's Ganga is not God. She is coming from the lotus feet of Krishna. She is the foot wash of the Lord. मालूम है ना वो वामन देव जब extended his leg, then he pierced the coverings of the universe, and the waters of the Karuna, ocean, started coming inside from that hole and washed the feet of Lord Vishnu, Vamanadev, and that became Ganga. It is foot wash of the Lord.
And the Aarti and all that.
हाँ, तो we are worshipping Ganga Devi because Ganga can give devotion to the Lord. We are not worshipping Ganga as God. We are worshipping Ganga as a devotee of God. She can give devotion. Yamuna also. She is a devotee of the Lord. So we worship Yamuna. So that all the prominent rivers, Gange cha Yamuna cha Godavari, Narmade, Saraswati, Sindhu, Kaveri, Jalasme Sannidham Kuro, usme Achman mein bolte hain. They are all sacred rivers. We worship them. Okay.
So, Prabhuji, what is the right process of like worshipping a deity? First, we have to play. We have to.
वो last time बताया ना.
हाँ, शंख, फिर उसके बाद.
शंख, धूप, दीप, अर्घ्य, पुष्प, व्यजन, चामर. चामर व्यजन.
चामर व्यजन मतलब food.
नहीं, चामर is a white वाला जो चामर होता है. और व्यजन means 2 peacock feather fan.
But not at home, deity.
घर पे भी कर सकते हैं. हाँ, घर पे करते हैं ना. करते हैं, करना चाहिए. एटलीस्ट once a week तो करना चाहिए. पूरा रोज नहीं कर पा रहे हैं तो. You decide your standards. Okay. Yes, Madhu ji.
No question. Actually, आज class में मुझे बहुत questions पूछे. So I'm gonna ask a question, but just a comment. When we were talking about miracles and deities protecting themselves, so one thought crossed my mind about Kedarnath ji. जब एक शिला आके just like it stopped a couple of meters away from Kedarnath ji, and nothing, like the temple was not harmed, the shivling was not harmed. So just wanted to share that. I think that was really miraculous from my end.
Yes. होता है ऐसा. All these things, they increase our faith. But if something happens, that should not spoil our faith. कि भाई क्या हो गया, ये भगवान अपनी रक्षा नहीं कर पाए. Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. So we'll not do our chanting today. Just